Okay. Yeah, it compiled. So what I just did was set up the GMT mode path. But you need always to do that when you use Cresio with the those types of model. Okay. Um, so so what problem did you encounter, Brian?
Hold on, sorry, I have maintenance coming. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. That's all right. That's all right. So in the meantime, Christophe, have you been able to catch up?
I'm trying to connect to the remote server right now, and
Mm-hmm.
it's taking a minute.
Okay.
Oh, it says could not connection timed out.
I don't know. You can see that your machine is running right now alongside with
Oh,
mine.
I need to update
The IP address.
the address. Okay.
So remember, you need to go to here and to open your configuration file SSH and then uh, update the host name.
Mm-hmm.
While you're doing that, so Brian, I was asking, what was the issue you faced when you try to? I think what I said was try to add other outputs. Do you remember? Or if you don't remember, it's okay. We'll go through that anyway.
So I think I don't remember fully, but I think that I was getting confused on exactly like when we have the logger, I think I was getting confused on the syntax
Okay.
overall. I think I was mixing things up.
No worries.
So um, I I deleted it because it wasn't working, and
No
and
worries.
it was
Okay,
making
we're
my
going to
thing
go
crash.
through that. And I think, Rodrigo, you did it too. And did it work or not?
I made a very simple thing. I mean, we have the wavefront error, RMS,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically replicated that command, but changing the wavefront error. I don't know if object is the correct way to refer to that, but I changed it by the segment piston and segment chip tute.
Exactly. It's really what I was asking about.
Yes.
So just copy that and have, for example, segment piston, right?
Yes.
And yes, and if we do and we save that and we run that, that's
Oh,
sounding
seriously?
this
You can just copy like the whole thing where it says wait for an RMS and just add segment piston?
exactly. You just replace. It's how it
That's
works.
that's so much easier than what I was trying. Okay.
That's okay. I mean, this exercise just had to like you face because things seem so obvious to me, but it's true that when you're new with a program, you we all see things different, well, interpret things differently. Yes, if you add another output, you just need to um, again add an output to the same actors, and everything is the same, and we just replace wavefront RMS by segment piston. Um, and you need to put segment piston in the scope, of course, at the beginning, so it should work now. And if you look at the data, so now we have the wavefront RMS, and then 7 piston, and then the wavefront RMS and 7 piston, and etc. Rodrigo, at some point, I remember we talked about that. You were saying, why do we have 5 times the same thing? You're still wondering why?
Yes, I'm still wondering, and I tried to read something about the client properties, and my impression was that I have 5 sources.
No, we
No?
have only one sources.
Okay.
It's a time. You know, those actor is a time evolution. So we have 5 time steps. You see, we connect. If we look at the diagram here, we connect the on-axis GMT optical model to the timer and to the logger. And the timer is defined with a duration 5, which is 5 samples. So it's just repeating, doing the same thing 5 times. It's just that, okay?
As Brienne, way simpler than I was expecting. Because I just copied the timer, and I should start looking at that timer. So I just put as a placeholder, so I don't care about this timer. And now it's way simpler.
Yes, I call it a simple digital timer, and you initialize it with based on the duration in number of samples. So 5 in 5 samples, and we will do that 5 times. Let's try to. Christophe, where are you?
Yeah, so I connected to the server, and it's working. My main RS file looks different than yours. Should it look the same?
Yes, and it will be. Let me Control C. Let's put that in Slack. Like this, you can erase what you have and replace with everything. Like this, you will be exactly in the same. Okay, I copy in Slack the whole thing, and you can copy that here, and it should work the same. Don't forget to set up the GMT modes path, otherwise, like I will copy that in Slack as well before doing cargo run, or otherwise it will complain. Let's go in Slack again. Oops. Okay, this is in Slack also. Okay, so it's just that, Rodrigo. Okay, so and what the logging does as to explain, I hope logging here. It accumulates all the input in a single vector in the order of you specify the input. So the wavefront RMS, the 7 piston, and next time set the same thing, and accumulate everything in the same vector.
Is it sequential? So it's like the segment piston, or the wavefront error segment piston, wavefront error segment piston?
Yes, it's sequential. Okay. Something which is not absolutely necessary, but if you should specify the number of entry. The default is 1, and we'll explain. Let's do something with the data. If we do, you have a few. Look at the chunk function, for example, before I return data chunks the size of the entries. So we have 2 entries. So we're going, if we go to use this function, let's see what that means. I'll give an example. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to do data. And what I'm doing, no, data. I want to do, yes, we want to apply directly, let's remove all that, like that. So we remove data completely, and we use our logging that we need to log because it's in the mutex, and we going to apply chunks directly. Can we do that like this? Chunks, yes. That's a function that is defined here, and that's return an iterator. So for each that for each item of the iterator, we get some data, and we're going to print that int ln like this. That may work. So let's do that. I will, if it's run, I will put in Slack. It seems to be running, so I will copy that Slack. What did I do? Oh, yes, I think I should have done that. Yes, almost there. So what it does is not exact. What it's supposed to do is to give us. It's an iterator through the different sample. So we should have the wavefront RMS and the 7 piston, and so on and so forth. If we maybe to make that more obvious, we can add an enumerate. Enumerate. So here we're going to have an index now with the data. So we like get a tuple back. So we are unrolling the tuple. If we do something like that, it's going to work. Let's see. Yeah, you see the difference. So we have 5 time steps, and we get 10 output. So that means that we didn't configure the logger properly. And it's why I did that, because you need to specify, if you have more than one entry, you need to tell the logger how many entries it has. Otherwise, you cannot, he has the vectors and you don't know how to split it in time-wise. So what we just need to do is to, after default here on line 8, we'll define the logging, we add an entry. An entry, and we specify 2 entries. Cargo run. Okay.
I think there's more things that I need to update on my machine because it won't build. It's
Okay. What problem do you have?
I guess I couldn't find CEO in clients, and use of undeclared crate or module Tokyo.
Okay.
And
look at your cargo. You open the cargo 2ML. Does it look like mine here?
no, it doesn't. There's basically nothing in it.
Okay. So you're going to go in the command line and click on the cargo add anyhow like this. And then you repeat that for Tokyo. Cargo add Tokyo.
It won't.
It doesn't work. Okay, then you cook.
No. I think it's working. Yeah, it's hard to tell where the new. Yeah, I think it's working.
And then for those actors, you need to add those actors, but with the features, -- features, CEO, like this. And that you just populate your dependencies, and it should build after that. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to copy my dependencies here, and you can just copy and paste. What I put that in Slack.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't add the anyhow.
You can just copy and paste what I put in Slack.
Oh, it was still running. How do you know if something's done or if it's still running?
normally you get a prompt back.
Because I have the prompt, but then, okay. Yeah, I'll just copy what's in Slack
Okay,
for now.
okay, I will do too. And you should be able to build like this. Coming back to what we just
Oh, now
did.
it's there. I think it just updates slowly.
As a file, because it's remote, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So you should be able to build now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, so you see when we added 2 entries, now it split correctly the input, the in-chuck sample-wise. So we have the wave front error MS and the 7 piston. So that's something you need to add when you have more than 1 entry, but it's optional if you have only 1.
Rod, could you copy paste the last part, the logging.lock?
Yeah.
Mine's not working for some reason.
Okay, no, we want everybody. To work for everybody, of course. Oops, control, yeah. Oops, I didn't copy properly, sorry. Control C. Page. There you go. You have it.
Thank you. Okay, that worked.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. So that's the very basic logging method that we have here for kind of quick and dirty logging, where we accumulate everything in vectors and with a few method to, and if we need to split sample-wise data, we can apply the chunks method. Okay, makes sense?
Oh, I actually still do get 2 errors.
Okay.
Undeclared crate or module Tokyo. So I can just add
Cargo add Tokyo, yeah.
And then the other one is main function not allowed to be async, but is that because I'm missing Tokyo?
Yes, because you're missing Tokyo.
Okay.
So if you do cargo add Tokyo, that should work.
I have a question about the chunks. My impression is that the chunks is for each of the, it's respect to the size, to how many, the amount of, it's depending on the setting of the timer, right? So we have, if we have the timer with 5,
Yes.
size of 5, then we have 5 chunks.
5 chunks, exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce like this logging, the basic functionality of logging, and how to get some other outputs. And you see, it's just repeating the same line of code, just sending here, specifying what output you want. Now we're going to add another output, and we're going to go away from logging. So you are just getting familiar with logging, and then we're going to go to another type of logger. You will see it's a bit more powerful. This one is useful, for I say, for quick and dirty, but you will see in a minute that it has some limitation. I will show you why. So let's see what other data we can collect from the optical model. So if we go to client, CEO, and you see the list of enum here, I tell you the number of all the enum we get. So we have been able to get so far the wavefront error MS and the segment piston. I won't go through making the tip tilt and the wavefront error MS. It's the same thing. You will just have to copy these lines here and put it below and specify and replace the segment piston with another one, and then declare it at the beginning. Okay. So optical model is Oh yes, we use the default property of the optical model. So it's just the bare GMT with an on-axis source. So now let's try to get an image of the focal plane. Okay. So let's go back to optical model, and then we will see what we're going to try to get here is a detector frame. But we need to make a frame first. The frame of an imager. At least we can see what kind of image we're getting from the telescope. If we click on detector frame, well, no, there's nothing really to get from that. Let's go back to optical model. We need the optical model builder to see how we can enhance our model with an imager. So you see, you have a few methods where you can. So we used build already. GMT is to specify a GMT builder that will move you to the CEO repository, and you have some parameters you can set, like what type of mode, the number of modes you need. But we won't touch that for now. Same thing for the source. You can also specify a source builder from Cresio, sorry. And here again, you have a few methods to change the azimuth and the zenith angle, the magnitude of the star, and etc., etc. But we won't touch that. We're going to go to options. And options take a vector of optical model options. And so what is optional is the atmosphere, the Shakirtman model, and the PSSM. We're going to use to make an image the Shakirtman. You may wonder why do we need a Shakirtman? A Shakirtman is a very generic sensor in Cresio, and we're going to configure the Shakirtman. If we look at the option and we take any builder in Cresio, you see that per default it's the property is only one sensor, so one for one guide star, and the Landsat array has only one lenslet. So it's really just an imager. So if we just want to make an image focal plane, Shakirtman will do that for us. And there's other default property here. So it's already preset for that. So if we go back to the optical model, so what we just need to insert after builder, it's options. Options. And what we pass is a vector. So let's put a vector in there, and the vector is expecting optical model.
Is it after or before the build?
It's before the build, after the builder.
Oh, okay.
The builder gives you the optical model builder. It's where we can tweak and then we build, and that means that we consume the builder and then we go to, okay? So we're going to select optical model options.
Do you want us to follow along on our own machines or just?
I think it'd be
follow?
nice if you can follow. It's up to you,
Okay.
what you're more comfortable.
Okay.
So, and if we go to optical model options, so it's an enum, so we go colon, and we're going to select Shakirtman, and here the Shakirtman, yes, the nice thing with Visual Code, it should populate for you the field of the Shakirtman already. So we're going first to flux threshold, and we're going to put this one. It should be an F64, so we're going to put 0 F64. This is to select the valid lenslet, but here we have only one. We want to select any one. So putting it to 0 will be sure we're going to select the only lenslet we have. And if we go back to options, so we're going to invoke Shakirtman option, so we can start typing that. We should find it. I hope Shakirtman options. Oh no, it doesn't find it. Yes, it did at some point. Options. And we're going to add it to the top. Check-Hartmann options, and use diffractive, which is fine if we take it, because we want to make an image. So we're going to use a diffractive Check-Hartmann to make an image. And this one is expecting a Check-Hartmann builder from Crescio. So, are we all following? Are we all there? I will stop here a minute, making sure I didn't lose anybody on my way. Option,
I'm
those
not
actors.
following along.
I will put check
Some of the things don't seem to pop up when I type them.
Do you have in the extension, do you have Rust Analyzer installed? If you go into the extension?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so it should help.
They do, some of the things pop up, but then some don't.
So just copy along what you see there. Or if you want me to copy and paste, I can do that too for the options. I can do it like this.
This might be a dumb question, but it looks like you have Optical Model Builder before, like you do Optical Model Builder.options, and then there's an Optical Model .build, Model Builder.build. Is that right?
It's just the VS Code, which inserts that for us to remind me that at the output of options, I'm going to have an optical model builder. I didn't type it.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
Okay. Thank you.
So at that point, we're going to need Crescio, and I don't, because we're going to have to build it the Check-Hartmann from Crescio. So we're going to have to add here we do cargo add Crescio. Okay. So now we can here use Crescio, and we're going to use the Check-Hartmann builder. So now we can insert Check-Hartmann builder. Check-Hartmann builder. And we need to specify that again it is going to be a diffractive Check-Hartmann. So we're also going to add the diffractive to the Crescio output here, and we're going to put that here. Diffractive. Diffractive. And we're going to, no, it has to do, we expect colon, default, I think. We want the default. Let's see if it builds cargo. We got Crescio, and we build everything. Okay. It built on my side. I will copy the option again if you have trouble following. Let me know if you've been able to catch up with all that. So it's a bit verbose, but it allows you to really customize the optical model. We'll see with atmosphere. We'll see all the properties soon as well. So you see, we just introduced Crescio with cargo add, and then invoke Crescio to define a default build, to invoke the default builder for a diffractive Check-Hartmann. So where everybody's standing?
Oh, I overcopied the build.
I'm still trying to add Crescio. Ah, there we go.
That's all right. Take your time. That's
Why is there a comma after on axis GMT?
here, line 18.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a way to define the actor. So from line 11 to line 17, you define sorry, to line 18 with a build. You define an optical model builder, and then you put that into a tuple. So that's why you have a parenthesis here with the name we're going to give to the actors. So we have a tuple here, and that the into function converts this tuple by taking the inside the optical model builder and the name we give to the actors into an actor, and that gives us the name here in the graphic.
Oh, yeah, it's very disorienting to try to see what the difference is between the code that I have and the code that you have.
If you
I
prefer
think
to
that's what I'm
not
struggling with.
if you prefer not to type and just follow, I don't have any
Yeah.
preference. Honestly,
Maybe that's better for me.
Whatever is better for you. Whatever. I can copy and paste, and you can just build. It's whatever works. I think Brian and Rodrigo are trying to type along. Where do you stand? Any question?
I was able to build it
Okay.
and run it.
Good. Okay. Okay. Able to run as well. Rodrigo?
I'm having some issues with the Shack-Hartman options, and I'm just checking if I included the scope it properly.
Yes, in the DOS actor client CEO, you need to add the Shack-Hartman options.
Does the ordering make any difference?
In the declaration, no.
I think I need to make a cargo add to Crescio.
Yes, add cargo, add
okay.
Crescio. Yes. Yes, because you need to pass to the Shack-Hartman option a Shack-Hartman builder, which is owned by the CEO crate. So you need to add Crescio.
So CEO has the Shack-Hartman options, but Crescio has the Shack-Hartman builder. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Those actors provide a list of options for the optical model. And when you select them, at some point, it will ask you a Crescio object that you have to instance on Crescio.
I see. Okay.
So, how's it going, Rodrigo?
I'm almost there. I think we are at the same page. I'm just waiting for. I'm adding the Crescio, and then I will be able to. I think I will be able to build the code, but
Okay.
the code seems okay.
Okay. So I continue. So now, if for those who have been able to run it, we have added the Shack-Hartman model. So at each time step, normally we should have an image now. So now we're going to try to add an input to another input to collect the image. So if we go to again clients, well, we could say CEO, and we can see all the NM here. So we have something called a detector frame, and it's what we're going to use to collect the input. So we could try like this again, copy and paste these lines here, and just replacing the detector frame Oh, so replacing segment piston with detector frame. And that should even add another, so it's now 3 entries, and that is not going to build. Here we go. So let's see what it happened. The trait dose actor read vector 32 is implemented for dose actor client login F64. So what does that mean? I kind of hinted into that earlier. If we look at the login client, I said it's a simple vector where you accumulate the data. So you expect everything to be at the same time. But the frame is an F32, a single compared to floating points, whereas the wavefront RMS and the piston are a double. So this logging, this simple logger won't work when you try to have data of different time. So we need to move away from that. And there's a much more powerful logger that exists, which is we're going to use the Arrow client and using something called Arrow, which is done by the Apache consortium. What it does is you're going to build a table like the pandas table of Python or the table of MATLAB. And we're able to save that in a format that we can easily manipulate in these other languages. So we're going to invoke the Arrow builder first over the same thing. So we are going to replace logging now, all those lines with, we need first to, okay, let's go back a minute. Something you need to be careful is, documentation, here it says Arrow client is enabled with Apache Arrow features. But if we look at our cargo2ml, we have only the CO feature. So we're just going to add by hand here. We say Apache Arrow. That's going to enable this client. And those actor is done like this with many features because the compile time increase as you add more and more features. The features allow you to insert or remove piece of code which does not compile. So now we can, in the list of clients here, probably we can do something like that. Oh no, let's keep it as it was and just do again. Use those actors, the point clients, and we should do arrow client. It's arrow client, and arrow builder. Okay. And now we can replace use arrow builder, arrow builder. Let's look at the documentation. Arrow builder. No, not arrow builder. Sorry. The bad practice of mine. Should be arrow. Proper way to do it. It will work with the builder, but it's not a proper way to do it. On arrow, we invoke the builder, and the number of steps here is 5, and we build it, and that's about it for that. So everybody has been able to introduce the arrow client and modify the logging. I will copy this line here if you want to copy and paste.
So we should get rid of the old one we had with the mutex. the logging dot or default dot n entry, like that one, we should get rid of,
Yes,
right?
we're going to throw that away. We're going to replace that.
How do you comment in Rust?
//
Equal to C.
Pardon?
Equal to C language.
Yes,
Ah, thank you.
// like this.
Yep, thanks.
Everybody there?
It's building, but it looks like it's fine.
Okay. So if
What
everybody,
happens? Sorry, what happens to the logger if you put in the wrong number of steps, like not enough steps? Would it crash or would it?
no, it won't crash. In fact, the number of steps is just useful to pre-allocate memories. But if it runs out of memory, it will automatically add more.
Oh, okay.
So, but it will slow down the program because you will have to take the time to reallocate some memory, and then so it's a good practice to try to match what you expect to have. And there's also kind of safety features that I have implemented. If by mistake you implement imagine you put a number which is too large because it's computed from something else, and then you have a mistake and you have 1 billion steps, and then you have 1 terabyte of memory that you try to allocate. It will clip to 1 gigabyte. So it will check the size, and if you're trying to allocate more than 1 gigabyte, it will clip it. Okay, so, and then we need to do some little modification to the way we connect to the optical model, or output, the wavefront RMS. It's no longer input, it's going to be log here. And we have to add a wait because it is going to look for the client which is in the mutex, so it's asynchronous access. So we're going to do that. Under the wait.
What's the difference between .log and .log n?
I'm going to explain in a minute. That's a good question. You are ahead of everybody else. So
Not exactly ahead, I just use it.
So just like, let's try to build that. Yeah, it's building. We're going to have an error normally if we do that, but I went into my child high school the other day, and there's a quote in one of the class from Yoda, and there's the great teacher, a failure is. Or the greatest teacher failure is. Yes, the greatest teacher failure is, but a quote from Yoda apparently. So here we're going to have a failure. We're going to teach us something. So you see the compilation time dramatically increase. You should notice that as well on your side. So that's why I introduced these features, because the arrow create. Okay, oh yes. Let's also get rid of all of the line 58 to 61, because that make it fail, but it's not. It's normal. It's not something we want to use. Okay. All right. So it failed normally at line 43. So let's see why, and it's going to explain why we need log n sometimes, not log. If we go back to clients, the CEO, and we take for example the wavefront RMS, you see that he implements some traits, and one of them is size. And that means that he has a method where he will tell us what is the size of the wave frontier RMS vector that is going to get out, and here it's going to be 1. That is something that I have implemented. The same will be for the segment piston, where you also implement the size trait, and it returns something proportional to 7 times the number of sources. But if a detector frame, I didn't implement the size trait. So in that case, we need to is where we need to use log n. N meaning we need to specify the size of the frame, and the size of the frame depends on the Shakarpan builder. So we need to go back to Cresio for that. So if we go back to CEO, Optical Model Builder, we need to find the options, the Optical Model options, the Shakarpan options, the Shakarpan builder, and you see you should get to the default parameter, and what the frame size is given by the framelet number of pixels. Framelet, because if you have more than one lenslet, you have more than one framelet. But here it's going to be 512 because they have only one. So we are going to specify 512 square because it's 512 times 512. That, oopsie, I didn't put in this right. Oops. In log n here. That should drill now. Yes, and so this is the difference between log and log n. When I define
Don't you have a typo?
I do not have a typo, no.
Oh, the
Yes, I do have a typo.
Times.
Yes, I have a typo. You're right, you have a typo. Good catch. But it did compile. I say no because it compiled, but you can still compile and make something wrong. So yeah, that's why the difference with log n here, where you specify the time. Okay. So if we run that, I'll go run now. So you see, it tells you a few things here. It says, okay, the arrow logger with an information. It lists you the data with the size of each of the data. The number of steps, 5 steps. So you have the size of the data, the number of steps. There's also numbers. It's more for debugging for me. I think I'm going to be able to get rid to that. I had some issue to get this arrow logger working well at the beginning, but it has been working fine for some time now. And it tells you that the data is saved in data.parquet. So you should see that in the. It doesn't. Oh yeah, data.parquet.
Rod, when I try to put the size in as 512 times asterisk 512, it says that it needs a type. Like I'm getting a lot of errors actually.
So you put log n, right?
I put log n. Yeah, that line matches yours perfectly. Maybe let me copy and paste what you have for your optical model options. Maybe I wrote something wrong. It was working before though. Weird. Yeah, it's saying that it expects me to specify a type for a 512 by 512.
Interesting. I'm going to stop sharing and you're going to share your screen. Stop sharing, at least we can all see and all learn from you now. I'm going to be your teacher. If you want to
Oh boy, okay.
share it, good. So let's see.
So this is what I have. I'm putting this optical model like right down here.
Build log n
Don't need
I,
this.
I think it's the ghost. Size is a ghost.
Size is a ghost.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's confusing.
Ah.
Yes. VS Code is very useful, but yeah, you get some used to it. So let's see what we have.
And now it's not found in the scope. Do I need to put detector frame up here?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
And then now,
Remove the line 25 to 28.
yes. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay. So can go green.
Awesome. Okay.
And you should be able to do cargo run after that and have the data.parquet file available to you.
All right. Cool. Yes.
What would happen if you don't put the right size?
Let's do it. Yeah, Brian, you have, okay, we have,
Ah.
back to me. It's okay. Back to me. Let's do it.
Sorry.
No worries. Just sharing the screen here. Okay, sharing the screen. So let's say if I put 51 times 51, what's going to happen? Nothing bad happen, but you will get mangled data.
That's pretty bad.
So don't do it. You need to be aware. That's why I've introduced this size trait that I try to implement as much as I can, because it can be an issue, yes. So if you have a choice between log and login, check the documentation. If you see that size is implemented for this, the enum you want, use log. Usually I do the right thing most of the time. So that's better. Okay. All right. So that's so now we can have a peek into data.parquet. Let me show you how to do that. So we're going to switch to Python for a little while. New file, data.ipython notebook. I have installed the Jupyter extension, so we're going to benefit from that. So we're going to use pandas. Sorry, Christophe, we finished Python now. About pandas PD, we're going to import NumPy. I'm checking the time. NumPy has NP, and we're going to import matplotlib. Import matplotlib.pyplot. Pyplot. Yes, we want to know which. So you should have Anaconda 3 installed. So if it doesn't work, just follow along. But if it works, all the best. So with that, now we can get the data. And we just found a read parquet and data.parquet. So per default, we can opt out of saving also per default. There's a no save option in the raw builder, and you can also change the file name to something else than parquet. So yeah, that log. If you look at data, okay. So I think you should. I don't know if you have tried to also type that on your side, but if you do, you should get a table like this now with our wavefront error RMS. I'm surprised that the wavefront error RMS is 0.56. Is there something wrong? That doesn't look right to me, these values that I'm getting. Okay.
And the
Uh,
detector frame, and like if you look at the detector frame, the signal looks huge,
yes, let
right?
me explain. So you have a column, and so each row is a time step, and each cell is a data. Um, so if you take data of detector frame, oh, and we take the first element, it's an array already, so we can take the shape, and it's 512 square. Okay, and so that's how you can access element by element. If you want to access a full column, because for example, if you look at the piston, so I know in MATLAB, Christophe, you can access a Parquet file, but what the interface that MATLAB is proposing is very limited. And this type of data where each cell is itself an array doesn't work in MATLAB. I checked importantly. Segment piston. So to get the full column into a NumPy array, you can't use np.array. That doesn't work when you have a vector. It works only if you have a scalar. But if you do np vstack, vstack, it will give you the full column in an array like that. Yeah, that works. If you look at the shape of that, you have dot shape. Sorry. You have a 5 times 7. 5 times 7 and 7. Make sense? Okay. So now we can access the last detector frame and try to plot that. It seems going to be wrong. What the value I'm saying seems wrong. So I will have to. I will do the first one. It will be easier to start with the first one. Okay. So if we do plt.im show data. And we need to reshape it, of course, to 512 by 512. They forgot, yes, as PLT, yep. Reshape. Yeah, it's garbage. It's what I was getting. You see, it's very noisy. Let me see what's going on. Why am I getting something like that here? But they forgot. Ackermann model diffractive default, blood threshold. Yeah, you have an except and escape hatch here. I'm going to push it because I did it last week and it was working fine. Open file. So I have my tryout here. Need to compare with that. What did I do wrong? Timer, diffractive, Ackermann builder. Yes, I specify. No, it's not. I should put this one here. Okay. There you go. This one. Here we go. Ackermann builder diffractive. I use default. I was expecting an active builder here. Did I have this builder instead? Did I make a mistake? It's builder. No. How did I get to that the first time? The second one was function store. Builder default. Yes, it's new. It's new. Literally. What am I doing wrong? Right, it's going to do that. Builder. Let's try that. Let's see. The threshold is 0 build and the login and the detector n log n. It's a bit different, but it's because there's other things I want to play with. Okay, let's go back to here. Yep. Let's load that. No, it's still wrong. Where? Weird. Okay, well, I think we're going to end. We're out of time anyway. So I have some homework to figure out what can I get my code working properly this time. Wait, what did I forgot to do? I don't know. I'm surprised. What did I forgot to do? Maybe yes. That's maybe the problem. Go to another file. Put my file. Going to quickly troubleshoot that.
It is a different version of DOS actors with that.
That can be also that. I'm still heavy working on the thingy here. No, still garbage. Well, okay. Well, we're going to stop here. I don't want to bother you with that. It should work. It has worked in the past for me. So I will have to see why, and then I will tell you what's wrong next time. But anyway, I think the sequence of the code is okay. There's maybe a bug that came back from the dead somewhere. I don't know. I will have to see. Have any question on that? What we did today? If not, then I'm going to stop recording, and I will try to